On various financial news platforms, retirement education columns, and social media discussions, highly controversial and trending viewpoints frequently emerge. One such report from the authoritative US media outlet CBS News sparked widespread public debate and in-depth discussion in the global retirement planning sector. As many as 90% of Americans choose to actively ignore and reject the core guidelines widely recognized by experts as the optimal solution for retirement security. Judging solely by this surface-level conclusion, it is easy to form a one-sided and subjective perception that the general public lacks sufficient rational thinking and scientific judgment when it comes to retirement financial planning, a critical issue affecting lifelong well-being, and deliberately ignores the scientific advice provided by professionals through rigorous research. One might even assume that the solutions proposed by experts are flawless and beyond reproach, while the public's choices are all irrational and erroneous decisions. In reality, however, retirement planning is never a simple black and white either-or choice. It involves numerous complex variables, including each individual's financial situation, health status, family structure, and lifestyle needs. While these sensationalized, oversimplified statements may quickly capture public attention and boost the topic's popularity, they deliberately overlook the various complex factors present in real-life scenarios. They crudely reduce highly personalized and varied financial decisions to behavioral issues, such as the public's refusal to heed advice or lack of understanding. This one-sided, simplistic interpretation clearly fails to reflect the true reality of the retirement sector and is likely to mislead the general public's judgment regarding retirement planning. This top recommendation, repeatedly touted and promoted by various media outlets, has a core message that is clear and simple. It advises the general public to consciously delay claiming their retirement benefits until age 70. By deferring claims, individuals can secure higher monthly benefit payments, thereby improving their quality of life and financial security in retirement. When communicating this recommendation, many popular science articles habitually attribute the public's non-compliance or refusal to adopt it simply to a lack of understanding, assuming that people have not truly calculated the long-term benefits of delayed receipt, do not understand the underlying financial logic and benefit rules, and have therefore made unwise choices. However, upon conducting in-depth research into actual statistical data released by the US Social Security Administration and interviewing people of different age groups and income levels to understand their real-life circumstances and retirement needs, we discover that the core of the problem does not lie in the public's unwillingness to follow expert advice. Rather, the vast majority of people simply lack the practical foundation and financial capacity to implement this delayed withdrawal strategy due to constraints imposed by their personal financial circumstances, health conditions, and family structures. This shift in perspective from behavioral issues to constraints of circumstance completely shatters the singular narrative long perpetuated by the media. It brings discussions on retirement benefit strategies back onto a rational and objective track, and encourages more people to focus on the personalization and practicality of retirement planning. To view the phenomenon of 90% of the public ignoring expert advice objectively, comprehensively, and accurately, we must first set aside so-called optimal solutions at the theoretical level, move beyond experts' idealized assumptions, and truly focus on the actual withdrawal behaviors and real-world choices of ordinary people. According to the theoretical logic that delaying benefits until age 70 is the best choice, a large number of people should actively choose this option in real life. Even if the proportion does not reach a majority, it should still account for a significant share after all. Theoretical calculations show that the increase in benefits from delaying claims is quite substantial. However, actual statistical data reveals a starkly different picture. These figures, drawn from years of tracking by the US Social Security Administration and covering diverse groups across genders, income levels, and regions, clearly illustrate the actual preferences and distribution patterns of ordinary people regarding pension benefits. Specifically, upon reaching the earliest eligible age, 62, 20% to 25% of people immediately apply for and begin receiving benefits. This is the age group with the highest number of claimants, making it the most mainstream and common approach today. In the age range of 63 to 65, the proportion of people choosing to claim benefits increases further, reaching 35% to 40%. Most of these individuals, after briefly considering their options following retirement, decide not to wait any longer, but to claim benefits as soon as possible to ensure their basic livelihood. They form the core segment of the claimant population. Another 25 to 30% of the population will wait until the statutory full retirement age, that is, age 66 or 67, the exact age varies depending on the year of birth, to begin receiving benefits, thereby securing the full basic benefit amount. Most of these individuals have sufficient financial reserves to support themselves until they reach the age of full eligibility. Only about 25% of the population will further delay claiming until age 68 or 69, while those who actually manage to wait until age 70 to apply account for less than 10. In certain subcategories, such as statistics on low-income groups or those in poor health, this proportion drops as low as 4% to 8%. Such an extremely low implementation rate clearly demonstrates that the theoretically optimal solution has very limited practical applicability in real life and has not been widely accepted or adopted by the general public. With an implementation rate of less than 10, we are compelled to rethink a core question. If delaying pension claims until age 70 truly suits everyone and maximizes benefits for all, why do the vast majority choose to abandon this strategy? Is it really just because the public does not understand the calculation of these benefits or the underlying financial logic? The answer is clearly no. This recommendation, hailed by many media outlets and some experts as the optimal solution, is inherently limited and one-sided. It unilaterally emphasizes the long-term benefits of delaying benefits while completely ignoring the short-term costs of implementing this strategy and the prerequisites required to do so, overlooking the diverse needs and practical challenges faced by different groups. Under the rules of the US Social Security system, applying at age 62, the earliest eligible age means recipients receive only about 70% of the full statutory benefit amount, implying that early withdrawal directly results in a significant reduction in monthly benefit payments. Between the ages of 62 and 67, benefit amounts increase steadily at a rate of 5% to 6% per year. This relatively gradual growth serves primarily as compensation for early withdrawal. Once the statutory full retirement age is reached, the reward mechanism for delayed withdrawal officially kicks in. The rate of benefit growth will increase significantly, rising at an annual rate of 8%, a trend that continues until age 70. In other words, the longer one delays, the higher the monthly benefit amount becomes, which is the core rationale behind experts' recommendations to delay claiming. However, this entire set of rules and benefit calculations is based on the ideal premise that people have the ability to wait, a condition that the vast majority of people cannot meet in reality. To make this difference in returns more intuitive and understandable, and to help everyone clearly grasp the specific distinctions between delayed and early withdrawal, we can provide a detailed calculation using concrete financial data. Suppose an individual, upon reaching the statutory full retirement age, 66 or 67, is eligible to receive a monthly pension benefit of 20. This is the full benefit amount they would receive if they retired at the normal retirement age. If they choose to claim benefits early at age 62, the payment would be calculated at 70% of the full amount, resulting in a monthly benefit of $1,400 less than the full amount. The annual difference amounts to $7,200, which is a significant shortfall for those with limited sources of income after retirement. However, if he waits until age 70 to begin receiving benefits, with an annual increase of 8, his monthly benefit would rise to $2,480. $480 more than the full amount, resulting in an annual difference of $5,760. Compared to taking benefits early at age 62, this represents an additional $180 per month, amounting to an annual difference of $12,960. From $1,400 to $2,480 per month, the increase in monthly benefits amounts to $77. Such a rise in income is undoubtedly of critical importance during retirement, significantly improving the quality of life after retirement and providing seniors with more funds for healthcare, long-term care, and leisure activities. More importantly, This additional income is completely independent of financial market fluctuations. It carries no risk of investment losses and requires no effort to manage related assets. It is a stable safeguard built into the pension system, a guaranteed income paid for life and dynamically adjusted according to inflation, providing continuous, stable financial support for retirement. There is no need to worry about being affected by market downturns or economic volatility, which is the core reason experts strongly recommend the delayed claim strategy. However, every financial strategy involves trade-offs. There is no one-size-fits-all solution, and delaying the receipt of pension benefits is no exception. The essence of delaying receipt is to trade a reduction in currently available funds for higher monthly income in the future. Essentially, a financial choice of trading short-term for long-term. Whether this trade-off is worthwhile or suitable for an individual has no universal answer. It depends entirely on each person's specific circumstances, including financial reserves, health status, family structure, and lifestyle needs. Once the potential benefits of delayed withdrawal are clear, we must dispel a long-standing misconception perpetuated by the media. Not all professionals recommend that everyone unconditionally delay claiming benefits until age 70. Such a claim is one-sided and inaccurate. Many people have been misled by certain one-sided educational materials into believing that experts across the entire retirement planning field are promoting a one-size-fits-all strategy and demanding that everyone wait until age 70 to begin receiving benefits. But in reality, whether it is globally renowned professional institutions such as the US Social Security Administration, the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College and Vanguard, or senior scholars deeply engaged in the field of retirement planning, such as Wade Fole, David Blanchett, and Morningstar. Their research findings all convey the same core message. Recommendations to delay claiming benefits have strict limitations and prerequisites. The logic of real-world retirement planning is far more complex than what is portrayed in the media. It must be evaluated comprehensively based on individual circumstances and cannot be generalized. Professional research has long and thoroughly demonstrated that delaying the application for retirement benefits indeed delivers tangible value and benefits in multiple ways. This is beyond doubt. First, it effectively increases the total lifetime benefits received, especially for those with longer life expectancies. The higher monthly benefits resulting from delayed claims accumulate over the long term during retirement, ultimately yielding total returns far exceeding those from early claims. Second, it reduces the outliving your retirement funds risk, one of the greatest financial hazards in retirement. Many seniors face financial hardship in their later years precisely because they outlive their expectations. And the funds accumulated earlier or benefits claimed early are insufficient to support long-term living expenses. The higher benefits resulting from delayed claims can effectively hedge against this risk. Third, from a return perspective, deferring benefits translates to an annual real fixed return of 6% to 8%. This rate far exceeds that of low-risk investment products such as bank deposits and government bonds and carries no risk whatsoever, making it a highly attractive risk-free return. Finally, for married couples, delaying benefits also leaves a higher amount of survivor benefits for the spouse. After one partner passes away, the other can still rely on these higher benefits to maintain a basic standard of living, ensuring the family's retirement security. For these reasons, this strategy is considered an exceptionally cost-effective choice in retirement planning and has been recognized and recommended by numerous experts. However, while all studies acknowledge its advantages, they also emphasize the prerequisite for implementing this strategy. Deferring benefits is only a reasonable and feasible choice if the individual possesses the financial capacity to cover living expenses during the deferral period and if the strategy aligns with their overall retirement plan. This stands in stark contrast to the one-size-fits-all suggestion that everyone should wait until age 70 to claim benefits. There is no one-size-fits-all template or universal standard for optimizing retirement security. It must be tailored to an individual's and family's specific circumstances to truly fulfill its protective role. From a practical perspective, 4 categories of people are particularly well suited to the deferred withdrawal strategy. They possess the necessary conditions and needs to fully leverage the benefits of delaying withdrawals and maximize their retirement returns. The first group consists of individuals with a longer life expectancy. These individuals typically have a family history of longevity, for example. Their parents, grandparents, and other elders have lived long lives while also enjoying excellent personal health. They are free from serious chronic diseases, maintain healthy lifestyle habits, and possess the foundational conditions for a long life. This is particularly true for women. According to statistics from the US Social Security Administration, women's average life expectancy exceeds that of men by 3 to 5 years, allowing the benefits of delayed retirement to be maximized. The greatest financial risk in retirement is the depletion of retirement funds before one's life ends due to living longer than expected. The higher monthly benefits resulting from delayed claims provide a stable financial foundation for those with long lifespans, effectively hedging against this core risk. This ensures they have sufficient financial security in their later years and do not have to worry about living expenses. The second category consists of high-income individuals and those with substantial financial reserves. These individuals have accumulated significant wealth during their working lives, possessing ample bank deposits, investment assets, real estate, and more. Their sources of retirement income are diverse, and Social Security benefits are not their sole source of financial support. They have sufficient capacity to bridge the income gap between retirement and the start of benefit payments, eliminating the need to rely on Social Security benefits to maintain a basic standard of living. Choosing to defer benefits is equivalent to converting a portion of investment assets into a stable inflation-adjusted income that lasts a lifetime, much like purchasing a long-term retirement insurance policy for oneself. This approach not only ensures financial stability in old age, but also reduces investment risks, providing greater financial security during retirement. The third category consists of the higher-earning spouse in married couples. For this group, the decision on when to claim benefits affects not only their own retirement lifestyle, but also their spouse's level of retirement security, and may even impact the family's overall retirement security. Under the rules of the US retirement system, when one spouse passes away, the surviving spouse is eligible to receive survivor benefits. The amount of these survivor benefits depends on the benefit amount the deceased spouse was receiving. The higher the deceased spouse's benefit amount, the higher the survivor benefits will be. Therefore, as the higher earning spouse, delaying benefits allows for higher monthly payments. Even if the higher earning spouse passes away, their spouse can still rely on these higher survivor benefits to maintain their original standard of living, avoiding financial hardship due to the loss of the primary income source. Consequently, from the perspective of overall family retirement planning, it makes strong sense for the higher earning spouse to delay claiming benefits, as this serves as a safeguard for the family's retirement security. The fourth category consists of individuals who have significant concerns about financial market volatility. Most people in this group have a low risk tolerance. They worry that their investment assets will shrink due to market declines and are reluctant to invest large sums of money in financial markets. Consequently, their primary sources of income after retirement rely on savings and pension benefits. Delaying benefit collection can significantly reduce reliance on investment reserves after retirement, lower the rate of fund withdrawals, and effectively hedge against sequence risk, i.e., asset depreciation caused by market declines early in retirement, which in turn affects the long-term supply of retirement funds and depletion risk, thereby enhancing the financial stability of retirement life. This group typically also chooses to extend their working years. On the one hand, this increases income and allows for the accumulation of greater financial reserves. On the other hand, it provides investment reserves with more time to grow. Ultimately, they can begin retirement with more substantial assets and higher pension benefits, significantly enhancing their overall financial security. In contrast to the four groups mentioned above, a significant portion of the population is not only unsuited to delaying benefit collection until age 70, but forcing this strategy upon them would actually exacerbate their financial risks and even jeopardize their entire retirement planning. This is the key information that media headlines deliberately conceal and refuse to mention, as it would shatter the single narrative that delaying benefit collection is the optimal solution, thereby affecting the topic's popularity and reach. First are those who urgently need a stable income right now. Most of these individuals are low-income earners, laid-off workers, or gig workers. Their savings are minimal or non-existent, and they have no additional sources of income to bridge the gap between retirement and the start of benefit payments. Even if they are still working, their income barely covers basic living expenses, barely meeting essential needs like food, clothing, housing, and transportation. They simply cannot afford to wait several years before receiving benefits. The core objective of retirement planning is to ensure a high quality of life after retirement, allowing seniors to enjoy their golden years in peace, rather than simply pursuing maximum returns. If one sacrifices the quality of life over the next few years in pursuit of higher future pension benefits, plunging oneself into financial hardship, living beyond one's means, or even relying on others for support to sustain daily life. Such an optimal strategy is in reality meaningless and runs counter to the original intent of retirement planning. Second are those with poor health and a shorter life expectancy. This group suffers from poor physical condition, severe chronic illnesses, or serious diseases resulting in high medical expenses. Furthermore, based on family medical history and their own health status, their life expectancy is relatively short. When planning their benefit withdrawal timing, this group must focus on the break-even age, the age at which the total amount received by delaying benefits equals the total amount received by taking them early. This is the key factor in determining whether it is more advantageous to take benefits early or delay them. Based on calculations using data from the US Social Security Administration and the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College, this break-even point typically falls between the ages of 79 and 82. Though the exact age may vary, depending on factors such as the initial claim age and benefit amounts. Simply put, if a person lives to around 80 years old, the total lifetime benefits received by delaying claims until age 70 are roughly equivalent to those received by claiming early at age 62. If you're expected to live past 80, delaying your claims is more advantageous. If you're not expected to live past 80, claiming early is more advantageous. Therefore, if you assess your family medical history and personal health and determine that you're unlikely to reach this break-even age, claiming early is the rational choice to maximize your lifetime total benefits. It also ensures you have sufficient financial security during your lifetime, freeing you from worries about medical and living expenses. Finally, there are those who retire early with limited financial reserves. Most of these individuals choose to retire at age 62 or even earlier due to health issues or career changes. Having left the workforce early and lost a stable income, their living expenses become heavily reliant on investment reserves and pension benefits. If the principal amount is small and insufficient to sustain long-term living expenses, delaying the receipt of pension benefits will significantly increase the initial withdrawal rate, rapidly depleting limited assets. This, in turn, increases financial risk and may even lead to the early exhaustion of retirement funds, plunging one into financial hardship in old age. To illustrate this risk more clearly and help everyone better understand the impact of early versus delayed withdrawal on financial reserves, we can conduct a detailed analysis using a specific example. Suppose an individual retires at age 62 with 350 in investment reserves and requires 40 annually to cover daily living expenses, including necessities such as food, housing, transportation, healthcare, and leisure, with no other sources of income. The first scenario involves delaying the start of withdrawals until age 70. This means that for the next 8 years, the individual will have no retirement income. The entire 40 in annual living expenses must be drawn from the 350 investment reserve, resulting in an annual withdrawal rate of 11% to 12%. Those familiar with retirement planning know that the safe withdrawal rate for retirement funds is typically around 4%. This is a reasonable figure derived from long-term practice and research, capable of meeting basic living needs while ensuring the sustainability of the funds. A withdrawal rate of 11% to 12%, however, far exceeds the safe range for retirement planning, posing extremely high risks and representing an extremely dangerous withdrawal rate. If the early years of retirement coincide with a downturn in financial markets, such as a stock market crash or an economic recession, such high withdrawal rates will lock in investment losses, accelerating the rate at which assets shrink. Even if market conditions remain relatively stable without significant volatility, Withdrawing 11% to 12% annually means that by age 70, the investment reserve will likely shrink to between $100 and $150, representing a loss of over 50% of the original assets if faced with extreme market conditions such as the 2008 financial crisis. The reserve funds could even be completely depleted within a few years. This would leave the individual after turning 70 with no additional assets to fall back on, even if they were eligible for higher monthly benefits. And they would face financial hardship should unexpected events like major medical expenses arise. Ultimately, although they would receive higher monthly benefits, their core investment assets would have significantly diminished, making their overall retirement financial situation highly vulnerable and causing a substantial decline in their retirement security. The second option is to begin receiving retirement benefits directly at age 62. Based on the calculation standards mentioned earlier, this would amount to $1,500 per month, or approximately $18,000 annually. This means that by withdrawing just $22,000 from the investment reserve each year, one could cover the $40,000 annual living expenses, reducing the withdrawal rate to around 6%. Although this rate remains higher than the 4% safe withdrawal rate, if combined with a flexible withdrawal strategy, such as withdrawing slightly more during years of favorable market conditions and slightly less during years of poor market conditions, while reducing non-essential expenses, it still falls within a relatively safe range. Compared to the extremely high withdrawal rate of over 11%, financial security is significantly enhanced and the rate of asset depreciation slows considerably. Taking out funds early can effectively alleviate the initial pressure on investment reserves, leaving sufficient room for asset growth. This allows investment assets to generate returns during stable market periods, thereby extending the lifespan of the assets, reducing the probability of depletion, and enhancing the financial sustainability of retirement life. The choice between the two options is clear: sacrificing higher future benefits in exchange for the security of early investment reserves and reduced retirement risks. For the majority of ordinary people, this is undoubtedly the more prudent and pragmatic choice, better aligning with their practical needs and financial circumstances. After all, the core of retirement planning is safety first. Only by ensuring the sustainability of retirement funds can the goal of enjoying a secure retirement be truly achieved. Furthermore, single individuals with limited financial reserves should not blindly follow the trend of delaying pension claims. When planning for retirement, this group must prioritize their own living needs and financial capacity, and should not be misled by the notion that delaying claims is the optimal solution. As single individuals have no spouse, they do not need to consider survivor benefits. The additional returns from deferring benefits are inherently limited. Furthermore, their retirement lives depend solely on themselves without the support or assistance of others. Should financial difficulties arise, it would be difficult to obtain effective aid. Compounded by insufficient financial reserves, they lack the means to bridge the income gap during the deferral period. Forcing a wait will only plunge them into financial hardship, sacrificing their current quality of life while adding unnecessary economic pressure and psychological burden. Beyond these objective factors that can be quantified through data, there are also emotional factors that cannot be reflected in financial spreadsheets, yet they profoundly influence people's decisions regarding benefit collection. Although these factors are difficult to calculate or measure using professional financial models, they directly determine the effectiveness and feasibility of retirement strategies. For instance, the average person's desire for income certainty. After retirement, most people hope to have a stable, predictable income. Taking benefits early satisfies this psychological need, providing a greater sense of peace of mind and security. Another example is the urgent need for funds to support current living expenses. Many seniors face responsibilities, such as medical expenses, supporting elderly parents, and subsidizing their children after retirement, all of which require a stable financial foundation. Taking benefits early can promptly address these needs. Additionally, there is the psychological pursuit of financial stability. After retirement, people's risk tolerance decreases significantly, and they tend to prefer stable, risk-free financial arrangements. Taking benefits early can avoid the financial uncertainty associated with delayed receipt. making retirement life more secure. After learning about different withdrawal strategies and understanding the pros and cons of taking benefits early versus delaying them, many people are left with a core question. At what age is the best time to start receiving benefits? In fact, there is no single universal answer to this question. Nor is there an absolute standard. Planning for the withdrawal of retirement benefits is never an isolated decision. It must be integrated into an overall retirement financial strategy and considered comprehensively. Only by taking into account multiple factors such as one's financial situation, health status, family structure, and lifestyle needs can one make the choice that best suits their individual circumstances. Among these factors, the decision regarding Medicare enrollment around age 65 is a critical turning point that influences withdrawal decisions and is an important factor that many people tend to overlook as one of the most critical financial safeguards during retirement. Medicare directly impacts seniors' medical expenses and quality of life. Planning for Medicare is highly complex, involving various insurance plans, reimbursement rates, coverage scope, and other details. Moreover, it is interlinked with and mutually influences the timing of Social Security benefit claims, together forming the core of one's retirement financial system. For example, at age 65, individuals can apply for Medicare regardless of whether they are claiming Social Security benefits. However, claiming Social Security benefits early may affect Medicare's reimbursement rates and coverage scope. Conversely, delaying Social Security claims may impact Medicare's premium rates and benefits. Therefore, when planning the timing of Social Security benefit claims, one must simultaneously consider Medicare arrangements to ensure they align and maximize overall retirement security. Returning to the Retire at 70 strategy itself, its practical limitations are starkly evident, and it is precisely these limitations that prevent the vast majority of people from adopting this strategy. The media's promotion of delayed retirement actually assumes two core prerequisites. Either the individual is still working and has a steady, stable income to cover living expenses during the delay period without relying on retirement benefits. Or they possess sufficient financial reserves such as substantial savings or investment assets to smoothly navigate the income gap between retirement and the start of benefit payments without facing financial strain. However, the reality is that the vast majority of Americans leave the workforce in their early 60s, whether because they have reached retirement age, are unable to continue working due to health reasons, or are forced into retirement due to intense workplace competition. Their savings reserves after retirement are extremely limited. According to statistics from the US Social Security Administration, more than half of Americans have less than 100 in savings upon retirement, and nearly 1/3 have no retirement savings at all, nor any other stable source of income, relying solely on Social Security benefits to maintain a basic standard of living. Under these circumstances, delaying benefits is not only difficult to achieve, but also significantly increases financial risks, making the entire retirement plan extremely fragile and potentially leaving seniors without sufficient funds during the deferral period. For this group, the core of the decision is not the theoretical question of whether or not to delay claiming benefits, but the practical question of whether or not they can afford to delay. Claiming benefits early, on the other hand, can ensure that retirement planning runs smoothly, serving as the core pillar of support for their later years and allowing them to maintain a basic quality of life without worrying about basic necessities such as food, clothing, housing and transportation. Of course, we cannot deny that there is a small segment of the population with ample financial resources. After retiring at age 50 or 60, they still have sufficient means to sustain themselves until age 70 before claiming their benefits. This group primarily consists of high-income earners, corporate executives, and entrepreneurs who have accumulated substantial wealth during their working lives. They possess ample savings, investment assets, and real estate, resulting in diversified sources of retirement income. For them, pension benefits represent only a portion of their retirement income, not their sole source of support. They have sufficient funds to bridge the income gap during the deferral period and do not need to rely on pension benefits to sustain their livelihoods. Moreover, most of them are in good health with a long life expectancy, and deferring their benefits can yield greater returns for them. Therefore, they are more willing to choose to defer until age 70. However, this group constitutes only a minority, representing an extremely small proportion, precisely the less than 10% mentioned in the statistics, and cannot reflect the reality of the vast majority of ordinary people. For the vast majority of ordinary wage earners, post-retirement savings are extremely limited. Pension benefits, which can replace 50, 60, or even over 70 of their working income, serve as their primary source of income after retirement. Once they leave the workforce, these benefits become an essential necessity for maintaining a basic standard of living. They simply cannot afford to delay claiming them, nor do they have the means to do so. Therefore, when planning the timing of pension benefit collection, we need not be overly fixated on the theoretical optimal point of age 70, nor should we blindly follow experts' advice. Instead, we must first clarify our core planning objectives and make a comprehensive judgment based on our actual circumstances. If your planning goals include maximizing the total lifetime benefits received, hedging against the risks of living beyond retirement age, and increasing your spouse's survivor benefits, and if you possess the financial capacity to support a delayed withdrawal, then provided your personal circumstances allow it, delaying your benefits is an excellent choice that can yield higher long-term returns. However, if your planning goals are to cover current living expenses, alleviate financial pressure, protect limited investment reserves, and ensure a stable life in retirement, then taking benefits early is more aligned with your needs and is a more pragmatic and prudent choice. Professional research by Wade Fowle and David Blanchett further confirms that delaying benefits can indeed increase the safe withdrawal rate and extend the lifespan of investment reserves, but only if you can smoothly bridge the income gap, either by continuing to work or by refraining from drawing on your investment assets. If this prerequisite cannot be met, a deferral strategy will not only fail to deliver the expected benefits, but will also negatively impact your retirement finances, increase retirement risks, and leave you in a difficult situation in your later years. This is the core trade-off that most financial headlines are reluctant to address. The benefits of delaying benefits are real and substantial, a fact we cannot deny. However, the one-size-fits-all advice that everyone should delay claiming until age 70 has been grossly exaggerated. It does not align with the reality of most people's circumstances, nor suit the retirement planning needs of the majority. The advice professionals truly aim to convey is never to force everyone to wait until age 70 to start receiving benefits, but rather to guide each individual in identifying the optimal withdrawal timing based on their personal financial situation, health status, and family structure, thereby developing a personalized retirement plan. The essence of retirement planning is to pursue stability and financial security in post-retirement life, allowing seniors to enjoy their golden years in peace, not to blindly follow so-called optimal theories, nor to simply pursue maximum returns. Only strategies tailored to one's actual circumstances constitute truly scientific and reasonable retirement choices. Only then can retirement security truly fulfill its role and safeguard one's later years. When it comes to retirement, a matter that affects one's lifelong happiness, there is no one-size-fits-all template, nor is there an absolutely correct choice. Only a personalized plan tailored to one's own needs can ensure a truly stable and worry-free retirement, providing sufficient financial security and a high quality of life in old age, thereby truly realizing the goal of being cared for and secure in old age.